Carl Jung left men a message, but it wasn't written in plain words. It was coded in archetypes, wrapped in shadow, and hidden in the neglected corners of the male psyche. It wasn't a feel-good message. It was a demand. He asked men to face something many of us would rather avoid, the truth about desire, not just sexual craving, but the aching need to be seen, to connect, to surrender control, to be vulnerable. It's a truth that cuts against the dominant narrative of what it means to be a man. Male desire, in the modern world, is boxed in, either glorified in conquest or shamed in excess. It's rarely understood as a map to something deeper. Jung's work cracked that map open. But when men peek at it, what they see often scares them off. Because the message isn't just about sex. It's about the soul. And it demands a descent into pain, into the uncomfortable, into the feminine, into the parts of ourselves we've exiled. This essay explores Jung's core message on male desire, why it's so hard to hear, and what it offers if we're brave enough to listen. Jung's framework, desire in the psyche. Carl Jung didn't see desire as just biological impulse. He saw it as psychic energy, libido, not just as sex drive, but as the force that animates human growth, longing, creativity, and connection. In men, that force often gets distorted by repression, societal roles, and unconscious archetypes. Central to Jung's theory is the anima, the inner feminine figure in a man's psyche. It's not just softness or emotionality. The anima is the doorway to feeling, relatedness, intuition, and soul. If she is suppressed or projected outward, onto women, idealized lovers, or fantasy, then a man becomes a stranger to his own emotional world. There's also the shadow, everything a man refuses to see in himself, everything he was told not to be. The shadow contains his fears, insecurities, dependency, and vulnerability. But it also holds his vitality. And that's the paradox. What we push away contains what we most need. Desire in this framework isn't simple. It's layered. It can be driven by genuine connection, or it can be a mask covering shame, loneliness, or powerlessness. Without reflection, desire becomes compulsive. With awareness, it becomes a compass. What Jung left you a message means. The message Jung left isn't in a single quote or text. It's a psychological path, a call to individuation. He asked men to stop living according to borrowed scripts and to confront their inner lives head-on. That message, especially around desire, is disorienting. Most men are taught that desire is dangerous if unchecked, or shameful if too emotional. Jung said, stop controlling or denying it. Understand it. Follow it, not outward, but inward. The anima isn't there to seduce or distract. She's there to awaken. When a man dreams of mysterious women, when he obsesses over an unattainable figure, when he's emotionally stirred but doesn't know why, that's the anima calling. And often, she's calling him to descend into feelings he's spent a lifetime avoiding. Desire is not the end. It's the beginning. Jung's message is this: if you trace desire down to its roots, not just what you want, but why you want, you'll find the parts of yourself you've lost. You'll find the wounded child, the silenced artist, the abandoned lover. You'll find your soul. But to do that, you have to be willing to suffer. And that's why most men never go there. Why it hurts, painful truths. Hearing Jung's message hurts because it exposes the cracks in the mask. Most men are taught early on to bury vulnerability, deny weakness, and perform competence. Desire exposes need, and need feels like failure. To admit the full depth of desire is to admit that you're not self-contained. That you long for connection. That you're dependent. That your inner world can feel like a hollow room, echoing with unmet needs. These aren't just uncomfortable admissions. They are terrifying. The modern man's desire is often shaped in reaction to deprivation. Emotional starvation. Lack of touch. Absence of nurturing. When Jung asks you to examine your desire, he's asking you to walk back into those places. He's asking you to feel the longing you denied as a boy. The way you were told to man up instead of cry. The way you learned that wanting love was weak, but wanting sex was acceptable. And then there's shame. So many men carry deep shame around their desires, not just sexual fantasies, but romantic needs, the hunger for intimacy, the wish to be held or understood. These things are feminized, mocked, or dismissed. Jung demands that you not only see your shame, but speak to it. Not rationalize it. Not numb it. But sit with it. This is the crucible. The furnace. And it burns. Examples and vignettes. Take a man who bounces from relationship to relationship, each one ending when the intimacy gets too close. On the surface, he's charming, successful, sexually confident. But under it all, he's haunted. He's chasing something he can't name. The moment someone sees him, not the image, but the inner wound, he runs. From a Jungian lens, he's in flight from his shadow. His anima is integrated, projected onto women he idealizes, then devalues. His desire isn't for connection, it's for escape. He's not pursuing love. He's avoiding his own depth. Or imagine a man obsessed with control, tight routines, cold logic, no space for emotion. He's proud of his discipline. But his dreams betray him, recurring visions of drowning, of a dark feminine figure dragging him underwater. This isn't pathology. It's the psyche rebelling. His anima is rising, demanding entry. He's terrified. He thinks he'll be consumed. But Jung would say, let it happen. Let the descent occur. Because what lies on the other side isn't chaos, it's wholeness. Another man lives with constant rage. Everything irritates him, his partner, his children, the world. Underneath that rage is sorrow. Grief for the love he never received. His desire has curdled into resentment. His inner feminine is buried. His shadow bleeds out through passive aggression or emotional numbness. All these men are stuck because they won't hear the message. They want to fix things externally. Jung says, the answers are inside. But they hurt. Jung's prescription, integration as healing. Healing, for Jung, doesn't mean suppressing desire or transcending it. It means integrating it. It means pulling the anima and the shadow into consciousness, allowing them to speak. That starts with shadow work. A man must look at the parts of himself he's disowned, his softness, his shame, his dependence. He must stop pretending he's above pain. Only then can he begin to own his full self. The anima, then, becomes not a projection but a guide. Instead of idealizing women or fearing emotion, he can internalize a feminine presence, a soulful capacity for empathy, intuition, and feeling. This makes his desire less about possession, more about presence. Jung also believed in the transformation of libido. Desire doesn't need to be acted out compulsively. It can be channeled into art, relationship, spiritual work, service. When libido is no longer driven by emptiness, it becomes creative. It becomes generative. This is the integration Jung meant. Not repression, not moralizing, but a conscious, embodied relationship to all parts of oneself, including the ones that hurt. Resistance, why we avoid it. The psyche resists change, especially when it threatens the ego's control. Jung knew this. That's why his work doesn't offer quick fixes. It asks for endurance. Men resist Jung's message because it asks them to give up the very identities that have kept them safe. If you've spent your whole life being the strong one, or the logical one, or the sexual conqueror, then hearing that your true power lies in your vulnerability feels like death. And there's the social piece. We still live in a culture that mocks male emotionality, that rewards dominance, that teaches boys to fear their own tenderness. Jung's path is lonely. It's countercultural. It requires inner authority. So most men avoid it. They stay busy. They intellectualize. They blame others. They shrink from the edge. But the ache remains. Conclusion. Jung's message about male desire isn't comforting. It doesn't flatter the ego. It asks you to suffer consciously, to descend into your wounds, to stop running from your anima and your shadow. It hurts because it's true, because deep down you know there's more to you than the mask. You know your desire points to something real, something sacred. Hearing the message means you're ready. It means you're tired of living half alive. It means you're ready to stop performing and start integrating. And if you walk that path, there's something waiting on the other side, not perfection, but wholeness. Not control, but connection. That's the real message Jung left behind. And if you're brave enough, it's still there, waiting to be heard.